Ashe, greetings, grand rising, a grand day and peace and goodwill to you all. Once again, my fellow natural native earthly humans, you the earth's organic humans and soulful humans, you my fellow humans with soul the world over. Yes, you don't know, I am yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And I must also hereby take time out and express my sincere gratitude to you all for stopping by and giving up your time, your very limited resources to listen to another perspective. Yes, it's the time for reason with yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. Now, the title of this talk today is, Do You Believe in God? Another perspective, the time for reason, by yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. Do you believe in God? Or more correctly, or more direct, do you, the mystic philosopher, believe in God? And as you remember, these are three questions that I frequently being asked. I've already dealt with the other two. Now, do you, the mystic philosopher, believe in God? Now, this, from my perspective, is not a simple yes or no question. The answer to this question is not just simply yes or no. Now, unlike how the average human and possible the majority of people will hear, will see, interpret, understand, and answer it, I, the mystic philosopher, find this question to be a very thought-provoking question. Meaning, this is a question that activates independent and intelligent minds to think, to contemplate. It activates minds to reason, to evaluate, and thus it is one that requires the application of careful, rational, and analytical thought processing in order to arrive at and in order to give a thoughtful, meaningful, and a honest answer. The average persons who are oftentimes found to be in the majority, if or when asked this question, do you believe in God? Without thinking, they will promptly answer either yes or no. And some may even continue responding by giving the reason or reasons as to why they believe in or not believe in God. These are the people that the evidence will show are the non-thinkers. These are those that are victims of what I personally describe as the thinking phobia, the fear of thinking. These are victims of the paralysis of the fear of thinking. And consequently, they are suffering from the fear of thinking, which from my perspective is our people's worst fear. In fact, and if you should ask me, there is nothing that average people fears the most than for them to think, for them to be put in a situation or in a position where they are forced to think. They will say and do almost anything just to avoid the responsibility to think. And according to an ancient Proverbs, and I quote, "He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him," unquote. Proverbs 18 and verse 13, the King James Version of the Adamic Race History and Holy Book. And by the same logic, a person that does not think before he or she respond to a question, it is folly and shame to him or her, meaning it's foolish and shameful to him or her. And another name for a non-thinker is a fool. Non-thinkers are also known as being docile, as being sheepish, and of course fools. And fools I have already clearly defined in my previous two talks, namely, does God exist and do aliens exist? Now, before I continue, please let me share with you one of my favorite quotes and one that I consider to be very profound. And it is from a former Czech statesman, playwright, and former dissident. He was also the last president of Czechoslovakia and the first president of the Czech Republic. His name is Václav Havel. And I quote, "Keep the company of those who seek the truth, but run away from those who have found it," unquote. Yes, keep the company of those who seek the truth, or those who are seeking the truth, but get the hell away from those who claim they have found it, unquote. Now, with this fact in mind, how do I, the mystic philosopher, respond to this question whenever I'm asked, and if and when I determine that whoever is asking the question is a genuine truth seeker like myself, and not one who has already found the truth? And also, if I have the time to give a proper and honest response. And my response to that question are always in the form of another question, or at least 4 questions. And they are as follows. Which one? Which God? Whose God? Do I believe in your God or my God? Which one are you asking about? Now, my experiences have been that the people that are always asking me the question, do I believe in God, are the same ones that have claimed and have professed and are claiming and professing to have found the truth. And not only are they claiming and professing to have found the truth, but they are also claiming and professing to know the truth. They are the ones that I am informed and encouraged to stay the hell away from, as referred to in my quote by Václav Havel. Again, I quote, "Keep the company of those who seek the truth, but run away from those who have found it," unquote. Now, from my experience and observation, the most judgmental, the most intolerant, merciless, ruthless, unforgiving, inconsiderate, and dangerous group of people that now exists on this our planet and Mother Earth, and that I have ever personally encountered, listened to, and observed are both the religious and political groups of people and individuals, I might add, that claimed and professed and are claiming and professing that they have found the truth and that they know the truth. They are also the ones that are claiming and professing to have found God and to know God and to be doing God's work. They are the ones that respond to my inquiry for clarity by saying that there is only one God, and that one God is their God. However, in the same breath, they will say to me that all other gods are false gods. In fact, according to one lecture that I listened to quite recently, there's over 36 million gods and goddesses in India alone. And my interpretation of that is not that India have over 36 million false gods or false gods, but that India has a polytheistic understanding and overstanding of the concept and ideology of that which is called or referred to as God, gods, goddess, and goddesses. And even according to the Adamic race history and holy book, aka the Christian Holy Bible, the Adamic God commanded his group of religious people that they should have no other God or no other gods beside him. And I quote, "Thou shalt have no other gods beside me," unquote, according to the Adamic race history and holy book, Exodus 20 and verse 3, the King James Version. Meaning, he alone, "thou shalt have no other gods beside me," meaning him alone, or he alone, should be God. And thus, and just by that one statement alone, a thinking person can both readily see and rationally interpret and conclude that even that God, the Adamic God of the Christian Holy Bible, the Adamic God, knows the truth that he was not, that he is not the only God around. So in truth, what they're asking me, if I believe in God, and the answer they want to hear is that I say, yes, I believe in their God, I believe in your God. Whomever, or whatever they may conceive and believe him, it, or her, or they to be. And if or when I say I don't believe in their God, then they condemn me to their God's eternal pit of fire in hell. So what does the phrase believe in God, believe in a God, or believe in anything or anyone for that matter really means? What are we really saying if or when we say I believe? Now, let me dissect it and share with you my perspective. To believe means that you don't know. When you believe, you are consciously or unconsciously, openly admitting that you really and truly don't know. Meaning, you really don't know what you believe in. Example, you don't know what the outcome of something is or what the outcome will be. It literally means that you are functioning from the paradigm of faith, aka trust or ignorance, as opposed to functioning from the paradigm of knowledge and facts. And the paradigm of knowledge and facts, which can also be interpreted as the paradigm of fear. Faith or belief can make you fear less, or more correctly, faith or belief can make you have less fear. Not that you don't have fear, but you have less fear. While knowledge can make you fear more or have more fear. To have faith, aka to believe, is to hope for and to expect the best result in a potentially bad, risky, or dangerous situation. To know, aka to have knowledge in or of a potentially bad, risky, or dangerous situation is to be realistic and expect or fear the worst outcome. For example, if or when I say that I believe in God or in a God, I'm literally saying with my own lips that I don't know God or that God, or that I don't know exactly what that God or that God will do. But I am hoping, or that I have faith that I will get what I am expecting and hoping to achieve from him, her, it, or them. Belief in God has also been interpreted by many, if not by all, to mean that you, the believer, has willingly or forcibly surrendered and submitted your all to the dictates of that God, or to the dictates of those gods, and thereby accepting and allowing him, her, it, or them to have sovereign and unlimited power and control over your mind, over your soul, over your physical body, over your being, thus making you a slave, sometimes euphemistically called making you a servant to that God or to those gods. Slave and servant, interchangeably, same word, same thing. Example, the evidence has shown and is hereby showing that most of us, the highly melanin and carbon skin humans, we the earth, are original and organic humans. We the ascendants of Alkibio land, the place now commonly called Africa. The evidence has shown that we have been deceived. The evidence has shown that we are being deceived, and that we have also been violently forced and are being forced into surrendering, into submitting, and into accepting our enemies, God and gods, namely the evil ones, the devils, the imperialists and colonizers, God and gods, as having sovereign and unlimited power and control over our mind, over our soul, over our physical body, and over our being. Thus, we are now both their willing and unwilling slaves. A fact that is demonstrated in our ignorance of worship and devotion to them. But much more on that point at another time. Time will not permit me to get deeper into that right now. In summary, and in all practicality, the word worship and the practice of worship means that you are a slave to and for that which you worship. To worship our enemies' God, and by extension our enemies' gods, namely the Adamic, imperialist, and colonizers' God and gods, means that we are literally slaves to our enemies' God and gods, and consequently we are slaves to our enemies as well. Finally, for now, we were taught, and we are being taught, that the whole duty of man is to serve our enemies' God and keep his commandments. Some even break it down further by saying that the only reason why our enemies' God created us is for us to serve him, also known as to worship him by keeping his commandments. But for those of us that are truly enlightened and as such are in the know, we know and know that we know that this is a lie. In fact, even our common sense, if or when it is activated, should and will confirm that that is a lie, that is a deception. We know that our purpose is not to be slaves or servants to any god or gods, let alone servants and slaves to the God and gods of our enemies, the imperialists and the colonizers. However, we know that it is the purpose and duty of our God, of our gods, and our source to serve us and to constantly be of service to us. And not the other way around. But again, these are new thinking for most people. And I will have much more to say, and that time will not permit me to get deeper into that. But just think about it. Just think about it. It's the other way around. They teach us that we should serve their God, and consequently we end up serving them and they have slaves to them. And they do all manner of evil to us. But it is not so. It is not so. It's the other way around. It's God, if you will, our source, supposed to serve us, and not the other way around. But we'll talk more on that. Just think about it. Now, this is going to be the end of today's talk on the thought-provoking topic, do you believe in God? By yours truly, I, the Mystic Philosopher. I will have much more to say and much more thought-provoking perspectives and insights to share with you on this and many other topics in the near future. So please stay tuned for much more to come. Your feedback, your feed forward, and comments are welcome and encouraged. So in the meantime and between time, here is willing that in your becoming, that you be more and more and much, much more. And definitely not less. Let no one bless you, be less you, but be more. In your becoming, become more and more and much, much more. For I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.